In the heart of a quiet New England village, where stone walls lined the fields like ancient guardians and wooden barns leaned against the wind with weathered dignity, there stood a great maple tree. Its branches stretched wide, like arms forever open in eternal welcome, and in the summertime, its leaves shimmered green like polished glass caught in morning sunlight. When autumn came, those same leaves turned to fire, bright reds and golds that lit up the whole meadow like nature's own cathedral, casting warm shadows that danced across the grass with every gentle breeze. This tree never asked for anything. It made no demands upon the world, sought no payment for its gifts, expected no recognition for its endless generosity. Yet it gave so much. Children laughed as they climbed its sturdy trunk, their small hands finding purchase in the deep grooves of its bark, hiding among the branches like secrets whispered to the sky. They carved their initials into its patient surface, marking first loves and childhood dreams, and the maple bore these scars like badges of honor. Tired farmers sat beneath its shade during the heat of summer days, wiping sweat from their brows with calloused hands and resting their weary bones against the tree's strong trunk. The maple's canopy provided relief from the scorching sun, creating a natural sanctuary where time seemed to slow and the world grew peaceful. Birds nested high above in the maple's protective embrace. Robins and cardinals and tiny wrens who sang each morning as though the maple itself had taught them their songs. Their melodies filled the air with joy, a symphony conducted by the rustling leaves that swayed in harmony with nature's chorus. Squirrels scampered up and down the trunk with acrobatic grace, gathering acorns and building their winter homes in the tree's generous hollows. Even the smallest creatures, beetles and ants and butterflies, found shelter and sustenance in the maple's many offerings. The tree watched over the village through changing seasons and passing years. It witnessed children grow into adults, saw lovers meet beneath its branches, and couples exchange wedding vows in its shade. It observed the building of new houses and the painting of old ones, the arrival of newborns, and the quiet farewells to those who had completed their earthly journey. Through it all, the maple stood constant, a silent witness to the beautiful, ordinary miracle of life unfolding in its presence. Then came winter. The tree's branches stood bare, stripped of their colorful dress, reaching toward the grey sky like fingers tracing patterns in the clouds. But still it gave. The villagers came with buckets and spiles, tapping its trunk with respectful care, and from deep inside flowed a sweet golden sap, the tree's liquid heart, its essence made manifest. They collected this precious gift drop by drop, a treasure more valuable than any earthly currency. In the sugar house at the edge of the village, they boiled it down into syrup, amber colored and thick with the concentrated sweetness of the maple's soul. This gift filled their tables with warmth and joy on the coldest mornings, transforming simple pancakes into feasts and ordinary breakfast into celebrations. The villagers understood the sacred nature of this exchange. They took only what the tree could spare, never more than it could give without harm. Old Samuel, whose grandfather had taught him the ancient art of maple sugaring, would place his weathered hand on the bark each spring and whisper his thanks. "We honor your generosity, old friend," he would say, his breath forming clouds in the crisp morning air. "We will not take more than you offer freely." One afternoon in late spring, when the maple's new leaves were just beginning to unfurl in tender shades of green, a curious boy named Daniel pressed his cheek to the bark. He was 10 years old, with bright eyes and a heart full of wonder, the kind of child who noticed things others might overlook. The bark felt rough against his skin, textured like an old book written in a language only trees could read. He whispered, almost shyly, as if afraid the tree might not want to hear his question, "Why do you give so much, old tree? You share your shade, your branches, your sweetness, yet you never ask for thanks. You never demand payment or praise. You just give and give and give." The wind stirred gently through the village, carrying the scent of apple blossoms and fresh earth, rustling through the tree's limbs like a soft answer to the boy's heartfelt question. Daniel thought he heard the maple whisper back, its voice like the sound of leaves brushing against each other, like water flowing over smooth stones, "Because giving is my way of living. Young one, I do not count what I give, for counting makes a heart small and tight. I only grow, and in growing, I share. The sun gives me light, the rain gives me drink, the earth gives me strength. How can I do anything but pass these gifts along? This is the way of things, the great circle that connects all living beings. To give freely is to live fully." Daniel felt something shift inside his chest, a warmth that had nothing to do with the spring sunshine. He understood, in the way that children sometimes understand things that adults have forgotten, that the maple was teaching him about the deepest kind of happiness, the joy that comes not from receiving, but from giving without expecting anything in return. Seasons passed like pages turning in a well loved book. The maple grew older, its trunk hollow in places where age and weather had carved out secret chambers, its limbs heavy with the weight of years and the wisdom that comes only through time. Children who had once climbed its branches brought their own children to play beneath its shade. The tree's canopy had grown even wider, its roots deeper, its capacity for generosity greater than ever. But all living things have their appointed time, and the great maple's hour was approaching. On a stormy October night, when the wind howled like a living thing and rain lashed against windows with fierce insistence, lightning split the sky with brilliant fire. The bolt found the maple, dividing it down the middle with a crack that echoed through the village like thunder. By morning, when the storm had exhausted itself and calm returned to the world, the once great tree lay broken, half of its massive trunk fallen across the meadow, its remaining branches reaching toward heaven like arms in final prayer. The villagers came out as soon as the dawn light revealed the tragedy. They stood in silence around their fallen friend, their faces etched with genuine grief. They mourned not just a tree, but a member of their community, a constant presence that had been part of their lives for generations. Children wept openly, and adults felt tears they hadn't expected sting their eyes. Old Samuel, now bent with age, knelt beside the fallen trunk and placed his hand one last time on the familiar bark. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for everything." They held a memorial service 3 days later, gathering in the meadow where the maple had stood. The village pastor spoke about the tree's example of selfless service, and villagers shared memories of shade and syrup, of childhood games and quiet moments of rest. They planted wildflowers around the remaining stump, creating a garden of remembrance that would bloom each spring in honor of their generous friend. But nature, in her infinite wisdom, held a secret that would transform grief into wonder. When spring returned with its promise of renewal, something miraculous began to happen. Tiny seedlings pushed through the soil all around the meadow, emerging like green prayers answered. Little maples, strong and full of promise, reached their first tender leaves toward the sun. From the old tree's fallen seeds, scattered by wind and rain, planted by squirrels, carried by birds, had come new life. Each sapling carried within it the genetic memory of generosity, the inherited wisdom of giving without counting the cost. Daniel, now a young man, was the first to notice the seedlings. He walked through the meadow in the early morning, counting dozens of new maple trees beginning their journey toward the sky. Some were no bigger than his thumb, others had grown knee-high, but all of them reached upward with the same determined grace their parent had shown. He knelt beside one particularly strong sapling and smiled, remembering the conversation he had shared with the great tree years before. The village decided to protect the young maples, fencing the meadow to keep them safe while they grew. They watched with wonder as each season brought new growth, new strength, new promise. Some villagers transplanted a few saplings to their own yards, wanting to have a piece of the great maple's legacy growing beside their homes. Others remained wild in the meadow, creating what would someday become a grove of maples, a living monument to their predecessors' generosity. Years passed and the young trees grew strong and tall. Their branches began to spread wide like arms opening in welcome. Birds began to nest in their growing limbs. Children started to climb their sturdy trunks. And when the trees matured enough, the villagers would tap them for syrup, continuing the ancient cycle of giving and receiving that the great maple had taught them. Though the great maple was gone, its spirit remained, living on in silence, in generosity, and in every tree that grew in its place. The village had learned something precious from their old friend, that true immortality comes not from living forever, but from giving so freely that your gifts continue to bless the world long after you're gone. In the rustle of leaves, in the sweetness of syrup, in the shade cast by loving branches, the great maple's lesson echoed through the generations. The most beautiful way to live is to give without counting the cost, to love without expecting return, and to trust that in the giving we become part of something far greater than ourselves. And in the heart of that quiet New England village, where stone walls still line the fields and wooden barns still lean against the wind, new maples continue to grow, each one a living reminder that love multiplies when it is shared, and that the greatest gifts are those we give freely, expecting nothing in return. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bright Owl for more inspiring stories and insightful content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay curious, stay wise, and keep shining with Bright Owl.